Okay, on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Devin Lee. Mr. Lee, come to the table. And then, Mr. Lee, you have here, let's see. Okay. I have a whole lot of violations in here. I have a violation that you need to be arraigned on from December 29th. Let's see, 2023. It says that you violated the terms of your probation by per JSG SCRAM tether confirmed consumption of alcohol at 4:35 p.m. on 12/28 and it ended at 6:55 a.m. on 12/29 with a peak alcohol content of 0.2555. It looks like prior to that, on December 13th, you signed a waiver for violations. There was one on the 12th of December, 8:46 p.m. You tested positive for alcohol, 0.31 blood alcohol content at 9:32.23, at 9:43, 0.16, 9:04, 0.32. And then on the 13th of December, it said you admitted to your probation officer that you had consumed vodka on that date. Another violation. Did we address this? Okay, that was already addressed. I have another violation here. This one being from January 3rd. Per JSG, the allegations are that your SCRAM tether confirmed consumption of alcohol at 5:10 p.m. on January 1st, ending at 3:53 a.m. on January 2nd, with a peak alcohol content of 0.232. And then there's another violation. This one is from January 3rd. The allegation is that SCRAM tether confirmed consumption of alcohol beginning at 4:37 p.m. on January 2nd, that is 2024, ending at 12:20 a.m. on January 3rd, with a peak alcohol content of 0.166. And there's another violation. It states here that you've committed the following technical violations, including the positive for controlled substance and alcohol at Everhealth on December 7th. You tested positive for results greater than 25,000 nanograms per milliliter ETG and 6,985.49. Let's see. Nanograms per milliliter ETS. Amphetamine, it says 4,733.53 nanograms per milliliter, and methamphetamine 10,991.85 nanograms per milliliter. There's another violation here from January 8th. The allegation is per SCRAM tether. There was a confirmed consumption for alcohol. The event began at 11:30 a.m. on January 5th, 2024, and ended at 5:08 p.m. on January 5th, 2024. There was a second event confirmed at 11:30 a.m. at 1 on January 5th, 2024. At 5:08 p.m. and January 5th, 2024. Second event began at 11:06 a.m. on January 6th, 2024, and ended at 2:57 a.m. on January 7th, 2024, with a peak alcohol content of .240 on January 6th. And then, let's see. Okay, right here, SCRAM tether. I haven't even signed this one yet. Let me sign it now. SCRAM tether. Confirmed consumption for alcohol event at 12:08 p.m. January 8th, 2024, and ended at 1:28 a.m. January 9th, 2024. Alcohol content peak 0.234. So you have the right to have a contested hearing on each of these matters. You have the right to be represented by counsel during the contested hearing. If you're found to be in violation of your probation status, your probation can be revoked, and you can be sentenced to a term of jail time. You have the right to be represented by counsel at the violation hearing. Did you want to request court-appointed counsel to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll enter a plea of not guilty for each of these violations and set it for a hearing. We'll note here that you are requesting court-appointed counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
Due to the extensive nature of these violations, there's a whole lot of them here. You will be remanded to the custody until the time of that hearing. Could you be remanded to custody until the time of that hearing?
No, sorry. I would like to speak.
You can speak, but you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to say, sir?
I was just gonna say, yeah, all those times, yes, ma'am. I had a rough holidays, but I've been clean over a week since I found out what my wife is newly pregnant, and kind of changes perspective for me. I have ultrasound pictures. I mean, a lot of things have been hard for this holidays, but I have been clean for over a week. The last time I drank was on the 8th, then the 9th, and if there's evidence of that per my SCRAM tether and me reporting today, trying to take care of this. Good, you guys are baby on the way.
Congratulations to you and to your wife, and hopefully you will take care of it. But these alcohol contents are extremely high. Some of them over 4 times the legal limit.
Which is hard to understand.
Look, I
Yes, ma'am.
already advised you of your right to remain silent. Everything you're saying will be used against you, including the fact that you just admitted to drinking multiple times while on probation in violation. My understanding is you have a pending OWI
Yes, ma'am.
in 54B. Nonetheless, I'm going to remind you again about your right to remain silent. There's an attorney right behind you, and she's doing everything she can but grab you around your mouth because you won't be quiet. And I have to put you in custody to save your life because you're going to drink yourself to death. Okay? So you'll meet with someone to get an attorney. We'll remand you until you can get a court date. Thank you. January 30th at 1:30 is the hearing date. Okay, on the record, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Neville, file number 13-00605. Council appearance.
Assistant Prosecutor Patricia Petrosky on behalf of the people. And Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the Attorney of Record Jacob Rowley for Mr. Joshua Neville, who is present standing to my right.
How are you, Mr. Nevels?
I am good. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm doing well. Okay, today was the date set for a hearing on probation violation. Are we having a hearing on this?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it looks like you saw Judge Parkak on December 4th, 2013, pled guilty to the 1125 violation. And he Sentence you to 45 days, Ingham County Jail. Let's see. Credit 1 day is what that looks like. It says suspend. But then it says suspend 25 days on payment of $412 plus $100 for a total cost of $512. That was the confusion. He would suspend 25 days if you made that payment. Then suspend the full 45 days. Okay. If that payment was made. And then this violation would be after that. It's old. I gotta backtrack to the file. Okay, I have a violation for February 21st, 2021. It states here you failed to report to probation back on January and February 2013, and that you failed to submit to preliminary breath testing and your analysis testing back on January 10th, January 13th, and January 20th, 2014. I wonder if the first violation is not a typo and that you failed to report in January, February 2014 versus 2013. I think that must be a typo.
I agree with that, Your Honor.
Okay. And then it says the violation of amended order from December 4th, 2013, 25 days jail suspended upon payment of $512, failed to attend AA meeting 2 times weekly, and attend outpatient substance abuse treatment as directed and paid the fee. So those are the violations you want to plead guilty to, sir? Or did you want to have a contested hearing?
You don't, if you dispute them, you get a contested hearing. If you don't dispute them, you plead guilty.
Plead guilty.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? Okay, you understand your right to have a contested hearing today? You understand that you have the right to require the prosecution and the probation department to put forth evidence to sustain violations as alleged, those I just read to you? Okay, you want to give up your right to a contested hearing?
It's your right, you have to give it up.
In order to plead guilty, you have to give the hearing. Do you want to plead guilty or do you want the hearing?
I plead guilty.
Okay, so do you want to give up your right to hearing then?
I'm sorry, I have a hard time understanding.
I understand. I'm just going to make sure. I'm here to make sure you understand it.
She needs an affirmative answer. Do you want to waive your contested hearing?
No.
Okay, so
You want to have a contested hearing and dispute the allegations.
you can't
No.
plead guilty. If you want to plead guilty, you have to waive the hearing. So that's what I'm asking you.
Yes.
You want to waive the hearing and plead guilty? Or do you want to not waive the hearing and we start the hearing right now?
She just needs an affirmative answer, so. you
I
say yes.
want the hearing.
You want the hearing? Okay, that's fine.
No. I'm
I'm
so
sorry.
sorry.
No, if you want the hearing, you can have the hearing.
You understand what she's asking? She says hearing, right? You want a hearing on the allegations, witnesses, and have testimony
I
about.
want to plead guilty.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anybody threatening you to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has there been any promises made for you to entice you to plead guilty?
No.
Okay. As to the violation that you failed to report to probation in January and February of 2014, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And the violation that you failed to submit to preliminary breath testing and your analysis testing at Adam back on January 10th, January 13th, and February 20th, 2014, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And I don't think this is a violation, it's just noting, violation of amended order, 25 days jail suspended upon. I don't think that's a violation though, because the order from the previous judge was you were gonna be sentenced to 45 days Ingham County Jail unless you successfully completed probation, but he would suspend 25 of those days by making a $512 payment. So it's really only 2 violations on here that I need factual basis for.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Nevels, in 2013, were you placed on a term of probation with Judge Clark?
Yes.
All right, and you reported to your probation officer, Mario Ledesma, correct?
Yes.
All right, and he had you reporting once a month, correct?
Yes.
All right, and did you fail to report in January and February of 2013?
Yes.
And he also ordered you to do random drug testing, correct?
Yes.
And you did that at Adam?
Yes.
All right, and did you fail to appear for testing on January 10th, January 13th, and February 20th, 2014?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Any questions from the prosecution?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court is satisfied with the factual basis, so accept your plea, find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. That's here, your probation officer believes that we should terminate your probation and sentence you to a term of jail time. It states that your responsibility has been poor, your overall progress poor, and that at the last violation, since the last violation, you've made zero progress and that doesn't appear to show that you want to complete your probation. What have you been doing for the last 10 years?
Just trying to work and support my family.
Where are you working?
I work for a clear fence company out of Dansville. I install fences.
How long have you been working there?
I've been there 2 years now.
So that explains what you've been doing for the last 2 years. What about the other 8 of the 10 that you were supposed to, that you had this warrant pending? You obviously didn't come in contact with law enforcement because you had this warrant pending for that long. So you stayed out of trouble for that long.
Before Cleary, I was at DeWitt Fence out of Lansing. I was there for 3 years, and before that, I worked in the Wood Nickel Saloon in Dansville as a cook.
Why didn't you come to court and take care of the warrant?
Time to grow up, take care of all of my loose ends so I could just concentrate on me and my family, not have this hanging over my head.
I assume you never paid the 512 either, did you?
I have
You have a balance of $318.40 on this. Are you able to pay that today?
I cannot.
When are you going to pay that? Because you've had 10 years.
I was hoping to be able to have it completely paid in full by the time we got our taxes back. I am laid off right now, so I'm drawing unemployment, and it's not even enough to cover our bills.
When is that? That you're going to pay, get your taxes back. How do I know what date that's going to be?
Normally the beginning of February, middle of February.
So you're not going to be able to make any payment on that until the middle of February. Who's this young lady sitting next to you?
This is my wife.
That's your what? That's your wife. How long have you been married?
We've been married 10 years.
The entire time of his probation. So you dropped Mr. Ledesma and you got married, and you didn't come back to court.
I was on probation when we got married.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I don't see how it's meaningful for me to continue your probation. You've not even had interaction with the criminal justice system for 10 years. Otherwise, this warrant wouldn't have lingered for so long. I don't like, however, to reward you absconding for 10 years. You didn't even make the payments.
I understand that.
What do you suggest I do?
Your Honor, he was fully prepared to do the 25 days when he walked in here, but I would suggest not doing that, given his family situation.
Actually, it's 45 days. It's not 25 days. He said 45 days, Ingham County Jail, but he'll suspend 25 of them.
And I had a question about that. Did he end up suspending it? Mr. Neville's can't remember how many
He did not.
times he did.
He never paid the 512. So it's a sentence, 45 days, Ingham County Jail, credit for 1 day. Suspend 45 days, 25 days upon payment of 412 plus $100 in bench warrant costs, it says, for a total of 512. And it looks like originally he had wrote 60 days. And then he would suspend 40 days, but he amended it. So the intention was for him not to suspend the entirety, to still hold something over your head. It said you were supposed to report to Ingham County Jail on 12/4/2013 at 6 p.m.
I did report there.
You did?
Yes.
You have record of that? Well, I need the probation department to tell me that. They don't tell me that you have any credit time served in here.
I did serve time. It was on work release.
Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and discharge you unsuccessfully. You have $318.40, which is already assessed. But I believe that is from the original order that's assessed. Plus this 5. Let me see. You know, you have more than that originally assessed. So you originally owed $1,280. Or what does it say he owed in JIS? Okay, you owe $318.40. When are you gonna make the first payment? I need a date. How much?
Let's look at payment arrangements.
Yeah, that's why I said the first payment.
And then once you get the taxes, like we talked earlier, you can pay it all off. So.
How much can you pay next Friday?
This Friday.
How much can you pay?
I can come up with $20 by this Friday.
Okay, this Friday is the 19th. You'll make the next payment the 19th of February.
Okay.
You can pay $20 the 19th of February. By March, I expect the balance to be paid. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll say here the balance will be paid no later than March 31st. Do you have any questions? You're all set.
Thank you.